welcome to the show. This is Talksthatheal, new channel on YouTube. We're starting a new podcast. We're going to discuss a lot of things on this podcast. We're going to feature a lot of different people. But today, I have a special guest. You probably know the amazing stallion, your boy, Leif Graham in the house. All right.
Let's go.
All right,
Let's go.
Thank you for coming and blessing the show.
Thank you for having me.
All
Thank you
right.
for having
This is season 1, episode 1, first premiere episode of the podcast. Now we're starting off with Leif. Leif, my dog. I know we know each other for a little bit now, and we worked together. But we became close friends very easily because we happen to have the same personalities and we happen to like the same things. Today you're here. Thank you for being on the podcast, man. Tell us a little bit about you, dog.
You know, I was a professional musician. I've done some tattoo stuff. You know, I've built houses. Before this, I was an EMT for a long time.
Okay.
You know, and now we work together. And, you know, I've seen a lot of things and done a lot of things. And
that's a lot of layers you just said right there. So you were a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Okay. And were you working with a shop?
Not really.
Just basically your own thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of a scratcher.
Okay.
As they call them, you know, if you will. So.
How long did you do that for?
Maybe a year and a half.
Oh, so you weren't really like embedded in it. So you were just giving it a go.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes you gotta dabble in different avenues, different areas in life before you find that niche. And you're like, all right, that's what I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, you know, I didn't want to be a meme.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? I should probably give this up.
You know, you gotta try your hardest.
Yeah.
All right. So you were a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
You said you did EMT for a while?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that, man.
Yeah. You know, I used to work in an MMA gym.
Okay.
And my buddy, he wasn't my buddy now, or he wasn't my buddy at the time, but he is now, right? He was a paramedic for a private ambulance company. And, you know, he said, hey, man, why don't you come do a ride-along? Because I had no direction in my life at that point.
Okay.
You know, I was pretty mixed up and jumbled up in my life. And so I was like, you know, I'll give it a shot. I got nothing else going on. So I went on a ride along, and for anybody who doesn't know, you know, hospitals have snack rooms for EMS personnel who come in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember those rooms.
Yeah. So he took, you know, we went on a bunch of calls and all of these different hospitals all over the town, and they had a bunch of snack rooms.
So you're like,
your boy stocked up. All right, hook it up.
This is one good perk. All right, that's a way to get going.
So I was like, I'm hooked. I got to do this job. You know, no, but I mean, for real, you know, there was nothing like, I've done a lot of negative things and caused a lot of people pain throughout my life. You know what I mean, and throughout their lives. And as I grew as a person, and I learned and I changed and I developed, I felt that I needed to be able to contribute something back to people.
Okay.
And I need
back to society.
Right. Okay. And help society heal, help individual people heal.
Okay.
You know, and I just really felt like that was my role, you know?
Man, I could tell you from my experience with EMS, once you've had that initial save, you saved a life, like for sure brought somebody back. There's nothing like it, man. It's like you're hooked. You're hooked.
100%.
You know?
Yeah. I feel that way with losses too, right? Like even when you lose somebody, for me, I feel like nobody else was going to do it, right? Nobody else was going to be in that moment and do what they could to try to save this person, let alone, you know, get them back.
Right. It's not innate in everyone to actually take action,
right?
To jump in there and do something.
So, you know, for me personally, it's helped me heal, right? Through a lot of my traumas and things that I've gone through my life. Being able to help other people and be there for them in their darkest moments, because that's when people call 911, right?
Oh yeah,
like they're in their darkest moment,
dire straits,
you know, and really being able to be there for people when it's like, I have no other option, I have nothing left, I don't know what to do, I need help, and you're that person who's there like, hey, I've got you. What do you need? How can I help you? What can I do for you?
It's like regardless of how small the issue is, to you it may be small,
right?
Because you're not feeling it.
Exactly.
You're not going through it. But to that person, it's like the end of the world. It's my life on the line.
Yeah.
So you got to treat it accordingly.
100%.
That's definitely a strong one right there.
Yeah.
Just now, when you were describing it, you said you've gone through a lot of traumas, right? So the whole purpose of me doing this podcast really is because of that. Like I've talked to a lot of people about darkest areas of their lives that really drive them mad behind closed doors, because we have to put a face for society, put on a face.
Yeah.
You know, pretend everything is great, you know?
Especially as men. It's funny that you say that, because I was just having a conversation with somebody yesterday. You know, somebody who, he's a veteran, been through a lot of stuff, you know, at one point was diagnosed with PTSD. You know, and we were talking about the fact that men need other men in their life to be able to open up to. You know, because no matter how tough you are, no matter how physically fit you are, you know, I do jujitsu, so there's a lot of machoism in it, right? And it's like tough, like being tough. MMA, same thing, like let's be tough, right? Through all that, you still need to be able to communicate emotionally, right? Like that's only on the surface. You might be tough on the surface, but on the inside, you might have a lot of pain. You know, and I think it's important for men, especially, to have other men that they can identify with and communicate with. Say, hey man, I'm hurting right now, or I've been through hurt. Like this is what I've been through.
And not feeling like you're softening yourself as a man,
right? Like
you're cowering.
Exactly. You know,
absolutely.
I don't think there's anything weak or shameful about talking about your feelings, right? Or expressing, hey man, when I was going through this hurt me. This is how I feel. Like I need somebody there for me. You know, and on the inverse, being that person who's there for somebody. Absolutely. Like being like, hey, I'm here for you, man.
Or what kind of fighter are you?
Yeah.
Like when you approach an opponent, are you disrespectful? Are you cocky? Or are you just humble because you know your skills and you know what you can do?
Right.
So what kind of fighter are you? And how'd you get started in jiu-jitsu to begin with?
Respect everybody, fear no one. Right. Definitely fighting, you need to be confident in your skills and your abilities and be like, hey, I know what I can do here. I'm not afraid of this guy, right? Because if you're afraid of that guy, you're already in the wrong spot.
Yeah, you lost the fight.
So how I got started was my dad was a martial artist for a long time, right? So I grew up around martial arts, right? Like to me, that was the thing. Like, oh, I want to be able to knock somebody out, head kick, whatever. But I need jiu-jitsu to get back up. So going through that process of learning jiu-jitsu and relearning how to wrestle and how to tie it all together, I started really falling in love with jiu-jitsu. And then I ended up, so at the time I was married, and I ended up getting a divorce, and I was really struggling, right? It was challenging, it was difficult.
With the divorce?
Yeah,
okay.
There was a lot of loss, you know, whether you're the person who asked for the divorce or is caused it, however it works out, there's still gonna be loss, right? Your whole life is changing no matter how you look at it.
Oh yeah, because you had, your lives were joined.
Right.
You know, at one point, and now you're pulling that apart.
Right.
So of course, yeah.
Whether the divorcee or the divorcer, right? Doesn't matter.
Wherever you fall in.
Yeah.
The pain is real.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. Brutal. I got really close to my coach now, AntonioLopez, the Academy. Check him out, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh yeah. Okay. I've yet to go, which I'm definitely gonna go because this man been talking a lot about it.
So. Phenomenal coach, family man. It had a really great atmosphere. And that's not even talking about the man's skill. The man is just an animal. His nickname's the Honey Badger for a reason, okay? Right. And so I really started falling in love with jiu-jitsu, right? And it pushed me through some of that pain, and it helped me, you know, having this great family environment, having these great people around me, being able to physically get all this energy out.
Oh yeah, uplift you in many ways.
And that was the thing, it wasn't just jiu-jitsu, right? We would go out and get food, or we would stay after and talk, you know, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is having men be there for other men. So now what we do is we have our own jiu-jitsu program, and we're affiliated with him.
Yeah, that's right, because you're teaching a lot. And you do a lot of kids too, right?
Right. So that's what I was gonna say, is I mostly focus on teaching kids. I think that the kids are our future, right? And
you start them young, and that you mold them,
right?
They grow with that sense of responsibility, sense of accountability,
discipline, respect.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, I tell all the parents when your kids step on this mat, they belong to me. I've got you, right? I'm gonna help in my way build your children up to be respectful, dedicated, disciplined, and more family-oriented people.
Because they're not even gonna have an appreciation.
Right. And so that's what we are, is we're a family. You know, so Jiu-Jitsu has really helped me build my own character and help build other people. And when you're building other people up, you're building yourself.
Absolutely.
So,
as a saying, each one teach one, right?
Yeah.
Every single one you can reach, however you can reach them. Reach out, grab hold of them, and pick them up. Because sometimes it takes that one voice to convince somebody of something they already know.
Yeah.
But they're fighting it.
Yep.
You know, earlier you said you've had some struggles, some traumas in your life. I've had my fair share. You know, we've all had our fair share. But were you only referring to that divorce? Is that what you were referring to?
No, so, you know, I had an interesting childhood.
Okay.
Right. So I lived predominantly with my dad. My mother was never really around. She was into drugs and alcohol and all this craziness. In and out of jail, went to prison when I was real young.
Prison, not jail.
Not
prison.
jail, prison. Yeah.
That's a big difference.
A huge difference. A lot of people don't understand the difference, right? So I've been through a lot, and I witnessed her go through a lot. You know, we grew up in some bad areas.
When you say some bad areas, you're referring to the parts of Vegas where you grew up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had an uncle who's only 4 years older than me. And so he was kind of like my brother, right?
Got you.
So I wanted to be just like him. But the thing is, we were the only two white kids.
Role model.
Yeah, no.
Best role model.
We were the only two white kids for miles.
Oh, wow. So what was the area predominantly?
Black and Hispanics.
Okay.
And we always felt like we had something to prove. You know?
Because you got to keep up with the
right.
environment.
So we were the crazy white kids, you know, who were willing to scrap over anything all the time.
Tap pause. Dave Chappelle said, whenever you see a white guy in a group of blacks and Hispanics, you have to be afraid of that white guy. Because you don't know what he did to get there.
Exactly. It's true, though. It's true.
I get the reference when you say we're the crazy white kids. I got you. All right, so let's go.
Yeah. You got to prove your worth.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And especially in those type of environments, everybody there is in poverty. Oh, yeah. Everybody there is hurting. And sometimes when we were with my mother, it was like she would send us into the grocery store to steal groceries. You know, and if we got caught, I can't believe you were doing that. That's ridiculous.
Oh my God, I have never.
Yeah. Who raised you this way? And my dad was a very strict individual. It was the complete opposite. You know, my dad was a martial artist. He worked 3 jobs to try to provide. We moved around a lot. We slept in the car sometimes.
Damn.
And he did everything he could do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so for me, it was this weird mixture of like discipline, integrity, respect, and just do whatever you can to prove that you're the hardest dude there is. If it wasn't for these things, I wouldn't be where I'm at now.
Oh, who you are.
Right. Yeah. And where I'm at right now, I feel like I'm about to explode into the next chapter of my life and do some really great and big things.
Hey, man, you know what they say, the storm never lasts forever. So whatever storm comes to you, it lands perfectly. This very morning when I woke up, I usually listen to tdjakes in the morning.
Yeah. Classic.
Shout out to tdjakes, man, because you've helped me in so many ways. So I was listening to a prayer this morning, and it said, every single storm that comes your way is to build you and prepare you. So the hardships are not to destroy you.
Right.
They're only to reveal you.
Right.
As you go through them and overcome them, you will reveal that into a new personality.
100%.
For the person that you are deep within. So we all go through struggles, hardships, but having known you for the time that I've known you, I could say whatever struggles you had, man, they have manifested and developing you into a character of a man that you are today. Because you are, not to blow smoke, but you do have a lot of great qualities, and you are a great person.
I appreciate that.
Aside from
It means a lot.
everything else, you know, aside from your skills.
And how sick I am, bro.
You see the guns, you know? Welcome to the gun show.
Sitting next to you, dude, I'm like,
you gotta flex that all the time. God damn it!
this is my normal state, bro. I'm always like this.
How long is this interview? There's no more blood to circulate.
That's why I got the tightest shirt I possibly could. Just keep that pump, you know what I mean?
Guns out. Yeah. You worked out before this, didn't you?
Yeah, of course I did. Dude, I was outside doing push-ups right before I came in. I was like, dude, gotta get that pump.
Get ready. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, man, it's real. It's real. It's real. It's not a put on, a facade.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people can pretend. People can pretend from now until the end of the days.
Yeah.
You know? And but your true character will somehow make its way through. Whether you're pretending or half-assing, as they say.
Yeah.
Your true character will.
100%.
You know, so.
One thing that I think that we have in common and why we identified with each other really well and connected, this is the type of person I am. And I'm going to be this person at all times, right? And granted, everybody has different sides, right? Like you might see the more joyful side. You might see the more silly side, the more serious nature, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, this is who I am through and through.
Yeah, that's, you know, there's always a level of faking the funk for the corporate world because you have to.
Yeah.
So I choose peace over everything else. Let me have my peace. If I need to isolate, I'll isolate. You know?
Yeah.
You don't have to be in the in crowd at all times. So sometimes my peacefulness, my happiness comes from me isolating from the crowd. You know, and I like it that way. Sometimes I prefer it. What do you see happening with the Jiu-Jitsu going forward? Because I know you're trying to open up your own gym, having your own establishment. So how do you see this moving forward? How are you taking it as a business as opposed to a hobby?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question. Shout out to AlexHormozi. That guy has a phenomenal YouTube channel and he gives away everything for free.
Wow.
And what started as a hobby, right, transitioned into something that I love, something that became who I am. And I think that I have a lot to offer. And I want to be able to help other people in the community, right? And I can help people through jiu-jitsu, right? I've already seen drastic changes in the kids that we teach. You know, I think any type of martial art is important, right? Because you have to harden your body. You know, and this is the thing, whether it's martial arts or it's lifting weights or whatever it is, you need to do something physically challenging. You need to challenge yourself. You know, and especially kids. Kids need to be challenged. Kids, as they grow, they have a hunger to learn. And if you don't feed that, they're going to start turning that down. Yeah. And as they progress through life, they're not going to want to learn as much. They're not going to develop at as quickly of a rate, right? So you have to inspire kids to challenge themselves hard, whether it's jiu-jitsu or boxing or lifting weights or running or learning an instrument, whatever it is.
Something in the psyche needs to be challenged.
Yes.
To keep pushing forward. A lot of people have self-esteem issues. You know, a lot of people have demons deep within, and they're afraid to unleash. You know what I mean? Like, I'm afraid because if I do let myself go, I might kill somebody. That's really where I was going when I asked you whether or not it can actually help someone with whether it's self-esteem issues.
Yeah, but jiu-jitsu is so brutally humbling.
How are you with your own child? How are you with your son?
On the mats, for me, my kids step out on the mats. Am I dad or am I coach?
Yeah, focus on your role at the time.
I'm coach, you know, and it's what I will say is it's difficult to manage that sometimes. Sometimes I'm great at all of them. Sometimes I'm great at none of them. I try to be as patient as possible with the fact that he's a kid, right? And I try not to get too absorbed in the fact that he's also my student. You know, I want him to have fun. I want him to learn. I want him to build confidence and all these things.
Because I know you said your dad did martial arts.
Yes.
And he trained with you as well when you were little.
Yeah.
So, and thinking back on how he was with you, are you instilling those same practices with your son, or are you adjusting in your own way?
Yeah, so there's definitely an adjustment of fire.
Okay.
Right. My dad is a very stoic individual. You know, he wasn't the type of guy who really wanted to be like, hey, I'm proud of you, son. Hey, I love you. Hey, good job.
On the back.
You know, it was very little of that.
Everybody needs that. Hey, I see you. I see what you're doing.
Yes.
Keep it up.
Yes.
Good job. You know, and just that little bit could keep you pushing, could keep you going.
100%. And you never know when somebody needs that. Right? And I think it's important to build people up.
And working out for me is therapy. You know, that's where I'm 100% myself.
Yes.
You know, I look in the mirror, I see myself for who I am. I talk to myself. I'm not crazy, but I do talk to myself.
I mean, that's a big thing. What you're saying is, you know, you feel like, hey, this is who I really am in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And, you know, talking to yourself and really just being vocal. Where I'm trying to see things now is, I want my kid to see this. I want my kid to see that it's okay to be like this. It's okay to do these. Right. Because if I don't let him come out and be involved with it, it's going to become a negative thing for him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, I don't want to go work out because my dad was always an a-hole when he was working out.
Mm-hmm.
My dad never let me lift weights with him. I don't want to do that. I don't want to eat healthy. You know.
I just learned yesterday, one of my favorite characters from Friends, Chandler.
Okay.
The entire time he was filming that show, they actually doing a book on it. He was either living in a rehab facility,
oh wow,
or a sober living facility. If he wasn't directly in rehab, he was in a sober living facility, and he's had like 10 to 15 surgeries. Was in a coma for a few weeks, battling drugs and alcohol. And yeah, when you look at his character on the show, you don't see that, you know what I mean? And because you never know what somebody's battling behind the scenes. You know, that's the game. Have you dabbled? Have you had any difficulty? Because for me, the only thing for me is an occasional drink. Yeah. Because I couldn't find any pleasure in anything else. That's just for me.
So as far as alcohol, I started drinking when I was like 13 years old.
Hot damn. Where are you even getting alcohol at 13 years old?
Stealing it, you know. My uncle, like I said, hooking me up. Get older friends who have older friends. You know, siphon from the parents, whatever they got, whatever.
The liquor cabinet.
Yeah. I was a full-blown alcoholic, right? I've been sober for, I don't know, probably 7 years now or something like that.
No occasional anniversary.
Nope.
Birthday.
No, and this is the thing, like, I probably could. I think, maybe. Who knows, right?
Right.
But
you don't want to tempt
I don't test it, right?
I got you. Even God said, man, if you believe in God or whatever you believe in, even God said, thou shalt not tempt thee. So if you know your demons, you know your strength, you know your struggles, you know your boundaries.
I did drugs. All of them. You know what I mean? I was telling you the other day about my polygraph, right? They're like, she was like, have you done drugs? Yes. Which ones? Yes. Which ones? Right? Like, I mean, you could just ask me which ones I haven't done. That'd be a shorter list.
Which ones? Yes. So just basically just go down the checklist.
And into my early 20s, I was blackout wasted every day. Right? And sometimes...
Now, is this your cruise? Is it people you're around?
Some of the people I was around didn't even know. It got to the point where I was so functional that people wouldn't even know that I was wasted. Right?
That you even under.
Yeah. And then I started like eating opiates, chewing them up. Like I break them in half, chew it up, do a couple shots, and live my day like that.
Jeez.
Right? And throughout the day I would chew up more, drink more. So it pretty much carried on throughout a lot of my life.
Oh.
You know, I just was drinking and doing whatever, smoking weed or doing cocaine. So it pretty much was a constant until at some point during my marriage, I came to terms with it. I've got to stop this. You know,
that was your first marriage?
Yes, and it almost ended my life. You know, like I blacked out, and when I woke up, I strung a noose. It was like,
you didn't even know you were contemplating.
I mean, you know, I struggled with depression. That wasn't the first time, right? But that was the first time I opened my eyes and was like, I need to make a change.
Because this could have been it.
There's got to be more than this.
Yeah, especially if you were blacked out, you wouldn't even have the realization to pause or stop yourself.
Yeah, and so fortunately I passed out, right? Which wasn't a normal thing for me. Like, normally I just keep going and keep going and keep going. Some people go through recovery, you know, and they go to meetings and stuff like that, and I support that. Whatever's going to help you. You get so focused on it. You get so focused on your recovery that you're basically, to me, it's almost like, all right, well,
are you living, or you just keep focusing on not relapsing?
Right, exactly. And that song, Hold On Loosely, Don't Let Go, because if you grip too tightly, you're going to lose control, right? If I'm holding on so tight and I'm white knuckling it, at some point, my grip is going to slip.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and if I'm just so focused on, you know, 723 days, when things get stressful,
that's the temptation get that much harder.
Right. And so, you know, I've been sober for, you know, at least 6 years, at least. you know what I mean? And I don't count. I just try to live my life.
Take it one day at a time. I saw something about another gentleman that was referring to his sobriety, and he said, I'm sober today. What tomorrow will bring, I don't know, but I'm sober today.
Yeah.
Ask me again tomorrow, I'll tell you.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's one day at a time.
Yeah.
So it's not thinking, I'm going for a year, I'm shooting for a year.
Yeah. And then I believe that wholeheartedly. I might drink tomorrow. Could I drink today? Probably. Am I going to? Probably not. I don't feel this need. I don't feel it's going to enhance my life.
If you're hanging out and a couple guys are having a couple drinks around you, it doesn't bother you.
Not at all.
Okay.
Shotgun beers. Right? Dude, shotgun a beer for me, bro. Right? Like, man, live your life.
Absolutely.
Live the life that best suits you. That promotes your health. That promotes happiness.
I'm 100% behind that one.
Right?
We're in the business of upholding the law.
Right.
We don't set them.
Right.
We're not in the business of creating legislature. Okay?
Right.
So at the end of the day, you do what you do. I'm not going to judge you personally. Mental health is becoming such a big deal in society. Because society is great with that, telling you who you are.
Yeah.
Telling you what you should be doing. You look at TikTok, you look at Instagram, YouTube. People do a lot of things for attention.
Yes.
People do a lot for attention. But can you tell which one is just looking for attention or which one is actually having an issue that actually need help?
It's tough, right? I think you never can tell. Like, there really is no real way to know. And so I think that we should treat everybody equally, right? We should treat everybody with respect and treat everybody with care, right? I care about your situation. Legitimately, I care about your situation.
Because regardless, you're a person.
Right. And whether you're trying to get attention, whether you're in serious need, it doesn't matter, right? I have a job to do. And whether that's in uniform or out of uniform, right? For me, my purpose, I feel, is to help people, to be there for people, to build people up.
Absolutely.
You know what? If you're in need and just need attention, maybe that's what you need. Maybe that's what you really need. You need somebody to show that they actually care.
I'm standing right here and I'm screaming from the top of my lungs, but nobody's paying me any attention.
Yeah, I found what works for me.
Okay.
In general, this is a recipe for mental health. Be physical. Be active. Go for a walk. Go for a run. Lift some weights. They don't have to be heavy. Just pick up some dumbbells. Pick them, lift them up. Put them down.
Whatever works for you.
And have people that you can communicate with. And then also having somebody who can talk to you, right? Because now, one, you feel open enough to be able to share and communicate, right? But also you are able to help somebody else with their thoughts and feelings and be there for somebody. And that's just as important as having somebody there for you.
Absolutely.
This person trusts you with their feelings and thoughts. That's a huge deal, right? I always think therapy is phenomenal, right? And not just, oh, I've got problems, I'm sick mentally, I need to go to therapy. No, you can go for maintenance, right?
Therapy does work, but only problem with that is in society, not everyone has the access.
True.
You know, so not everyone has the access. If you don't have, there's a girl I was watching on YouTube, and she was working her hardest. She was working 3 jobs so she can get herself some insurance coverage to get therapy because she suffers from severe depression.
Yeah. The thing is, there's always programs. Maybe she should have jumped online and found a program that says, hey, we're looking for impoverished adults who need help, right? There's programs. There's people who want to help, right?
I agree with you. There's always programs, but are they always available to, well, locality plays a factor.
Right.
You know, because where you are matters, because it's not always available in your
area, correct.
Right. It's not always available for everybody.
True.
So in thinking that, which is why you were saying like the starter kit would be a great idea, you know? But it's getting people...
That's my next book. Okay, look out for it.
It's getting everybody motivated enough to actually get up and say, I'm going to take a step. You know? And I think the #1 way to get people motivated, in my opinion, which is why I'm doing this whole thing, I'm interviewing all these people. I have a ton of people lined up that I want to talk to. And because I feel like through this conversation, just hearing somebody say, oh man, this guy does jujitsu, he's a federal agent, and he actually did battle depression, you know, like there's hope for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Seeing somebody else express what they went through could motivate someone else to get up and say, okay, I need to get myself out of this rut. You know, there is hope. People do get through this. People do fight through this. So regardless of the situation, I feel like it could always inspire somebody.
Yeah, and I think that at the end of the day, when I'm on my bed, you know, breathe my last breath, if I know that I have one person, even one person, change their life for the better, that's all I need. If I can inspire anybody, if I can touch their life, if I can make anybody feel like, hey man, you got this, right? I tell that to everybody. Anybody who's going through anything, dude, you got this. You can get up, right? And you don't have to do it alone. There's people who want to help.
And there's a lot to be said in talking and reaching out to people, even the people in your immediate surrounding. You will never know until you open up and say something. Because on the surface, you may look perfectly fine. Healthy, work out, could be a fighter, functioning member in society. But deep down, when you close those doors, behind closed doors, you are falling apart. So there's definitely something to be said in communicating those troubles. Reaching out to people, talking is the first step, but talking is the most important step. My advice to everyone is always maintain that openness, you know, because when you open and you're welcoming, people approach you, whether it's to help you or for you to help them. You have that openness, you have that welcoming personality, and get that chip off your shoulder, man. Any last words, brother? Because, you know, we're all pushing it.
Yeah, I do got a couple things, right? Excited for your new book, but also thanks, man, for having me on. I really appreciate it. Again, like he said, if you're having troubles, man, reach out to anybody, right? There's people who want to help. And the thing is, if you're willing to help people, you're going to receive blessings, right? If you're putting out good things, you're opening yourself up to receive good things.
Absolutely.
So, you know, just try to be there for people. And people will want to be there for you, right? If you're going through something hard, reach out to somebody. You know, like he said, whether you're hitting the jiu-jitsu mats, whether you're hitting the boxing bag, whether you're hitting the road, whatever you're doing, do something to pick yourself up. Treat yourself right, you know? And look out for my book, yo. I don't know what it's called yet. The Starter Kit of Mental Health. Let's go.
Hey, listen, when God blesses you with an idea, you figure it out later. It's gonna come. So you know where it's coming from. You know, that's That's the jam.
Yeah.
Now we just gotta hold it. Baby.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the jam.
But again, thanks for having me, and appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. All right. The channel is Talksthatheal. Check it out. Subscribe. Follow through because we have a lot more coming up. You're gonna love to see these people that I'm bringing on and the conversations we're gonna have and how it develops. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Stay tuned, and it's gonna get a whole lot better. All right. Help each other. Help yourselves, and let's get through this.
We out.
Thank you.
Thank you.